Okay, Michela, we came across your Facebook page and your site on Google as an established site for women traveling alone and specifically to Australia and Italy. How did you start that? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh, yes. It's about 10 years ago when I started traveling. Well, not traveling. I started writing about Australia, about my adventures, and I must say that Australia was always on my bucket list, like for many other people. But I never got round to doing it properly because I was working full time, and I didn't want it to do it, for a few weeks. So my really big solo backpacking trip was in 2004. So quite a bit before starting writing about Australia. And it was really illuminating, something that I said, oh, that's the country I imagine for my solo trips and whatever. And it's a huge country. It takes you ages before you visit it all, even for locals, So what I did, I went back in 2008 on another gap year. So 2004 was a gap year, 2008 was another gap year. And then in 2009, I thought, I have to do something in order to not to stop this long journey and this long adventure. So I have to start a blog or something. And at the beginning, it was just a personal blog, writing about my adventures, about my solo trips. But then it slowly turned into a real thing, like a real website for people traveling to Australia. And not only solo travelers, but more or less everyone wanting to arrange a trip in a very independent way, just, not through a travel agent, not through a tour operator, someone who wants to go, independently. So it all started like this. And it was, the years when it started rolling into 2011 and 12. So I kept going back to Australia every year, almost every year from 2013 until 2017. So for 5 years, I went back every year for 2 months, 3 months, depending on how long I could take. And it does really come to a very, very established website for Australia. I think it's probably the most comprehensive for female solo travelers to Australia, because there are many people who write about their adventures, but maybe they've been once to Australia. But in my case, it's a very, very long story. It's nearly 10 trips and all of 2, 3, and once it was 5 months. So it's a really big experience about Australia as a solo traveler. So I think I know the country quite well, and I can obviously not only encourage women to visit it, because I feel that it's a very, very safe, well, pretty much safe country for women, but also give lots of advice and tips, and I know what it works, what it doesn't for women, for solo travelers. So that's how it all started and all came into this sort of evolution.
That is amazing. That sounds like a real love story from you to Australia.
Yes, a real love story. And then I did also add Italy on top of it, because Italy is the country where I live and where I spend most of the time. So I saw that there was a lot of people coming from Australia as well, wanting to visit Europe, and mostly focused on Italy. I know Italy as a solo traveler too, but mostly it was during my, when I was in my 20s or something. I do travel alone as well in Italy, but not as often as in other countries. When I'm in Italy, maybe I'm with friends or with family or whatever. Now I try also to build in some more of other types of travels, because in the past I was only doing mostly only solo travels. And in the end, I realized that I was sometimes missing out on something else. I noticed that you need a balance in everything what you do, and maybe for a few years you can only go on solo trips, but then you come out of of that much needed balance. And so you try to building something into your life, which is bringing more, stability, and also, a different type of enjoyment, because travel is always good. I'm not saying that only solo travel is good. I think every type of travel is good. It depends on which mood you are, what your goals are, what you want, what you expect from your travels. So it really depends on many, many things, and you have to work it out what suits you best.
I hear you. This is like sharing is something that is really good, and as far as due to solo travel for a long time, sometimes you arrive at the point where you say sharing is important to me as well, right?
Yes, exactly. You really need to find a balance in your life and see what works, what doesn't work. And sometimes you really need a lot of solo travels, because maybe you are in a phase where you are more prone to being on your own and you don't need anyone else around you. You just want to be on your own and also on your travels. And sometimes you feel it's nicer to be with someone, maybe a partner, maybe a friend, maybe a family member, whatever. So, and whoever. So it's good to have a good mix, a good blend of experiences. Yes.
Absolutely. Sounds amazing. So you're an absolute authority about Australia and Italy, and you're the one to consult if people want to go there. So what is your brand and mission exactly about?
I have been thinking about a lot of times, because the brand, it wasn't really definite when I started, and it's still not definite. But I know that after so many years, I have my focus, and I can see where I'm going and what I want to do, and also who I'm talking to. I'm not a very touristy person, and I'm not also a commercial person in that sense that I sell what goes for the most. Like if I would sell Italy to the trend destinations like Tuscany, Cinque Terre, and all this, I would write about those destinations. But I'm not. I'm trying really to encourage people to do and to experience more of the lesser known sites, because I think there are more values in those. Obviously, I also admit, if you come to Italy for the first time, it's obvious that you want to see Rome, you want to see Venice, you want to see Florence, but I cannot really understand why you keep coming to the same places for the 10th time when you miss out on so many other beautiful spots. And this is a rule not only for Italy, for any country. So it doesn't really make a sense to me for many people just to visit those places because everyone else is doing it, or because, oh, okay, they say that's beautiful and I want to do it, and then they expect you as a blogger, as a writer, to write about it. I'm not doing it, so maybe you can go to another site, but I am more focused on encouraging people to visit in a responsible way places and make the most of them. Try not to add more, I would say, over tourism. Over tourism is a real issue. And I'm trying to encourage people to go the right path. So to having the right attitude to it. So I'm not saying you have to stop traveling. I'm not saying that. But if you travel to a country like Italy, which is suffering over tourism, you have to know what to expect. So don't just be disappointed. I went to Venice, it was so full, I'm not going back. And so try to do something else. Try to find alternatives to those places and trying to build your itinerary according to what I'm going to expect. I know that this is going to be reality. So, and I'm open to explore more of the lesser known sites, because any country has so much to offer. And that's what my mission is. Besides to encouraging women to be more courageous and not to think too much about it. Oh, shall I go by myself? Shall I not? You just have to do it. And I'm talking about those safe countries. I'm not saying that you have to head off to whatever in the middle of Africa in a very remote area and go there by yourself. I'm not saying that, but once you know that the country is safe, is pretty much safe, you can really do anything by yourself. And that's something that I really encourage every woman to do, because you may try it out and say, okay, I like it, or I don't like it so much. Maybe I like this type of travel. I like more cities. I like less of the countryside. I don't like outdoors on my own. You really have to find out what's the right thing for you. But this is where I focus currently, and I think that I'm going that way.
I think this way is an amazing way, and I encourage you, please go on with that, because this is so amazing to not just focus on the tourist spots, because that's just the destination maybe, but there is so much on the way that you can focus on, and this is so beautiful, and you would miss so much of the country if you just focus on some touristic spots. I'm with you on that, absolutely.